What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Remington James here, and today we're gonna cover why you feel so bad and you're always tired. Like a wise man once said, a man without sleep can barely pick up his feet, and a man who gets a full 8 is gonna go on 6 dates. That might have been Plato or Aristotle, not sure who exactly said that, but it rings true. If you are not well rested and optimal, then life gets way harder. Not just the basic day-to-day stuff, but the losing weight, the building muscle, the general happiness, everything gets way harder when you're underrested. But don't worry, guys, as someone who is a chronic bad sleeper, someone who couldn't get to bed till 2 a.m., woke up always feeling tired, I have come up with some solutions that I've actually implemented that have worked for me that I'm gonna share with you guys in this video. Don't worry, I'm not gonna make you hang upside down like a vampire or make you take any supplements that's gonna cause your big toe to grow to 6 times size. Instead, we got practical, easy solutions that anybody can implement. So if y'all are ready to get their epic video underway, then as always, man, I'm here to do it for you. Let's do it! Yeah! Now, the number one way to ensure that you are just optimal every day, no matter what life throws at you, get hit by a dump truck, you're still gonna be walking away from the scene of the accident as long as you've been eating ANABOLIC, more specifically the new white chocolate berry crunch flavor that drops July 14th at 3 p.m. Central. This is the world's best tasting protein bar, more like a candy bar perchance. Does perchance work right there? I'm not sure. But regardless, you do not wanna miss this drop. Set a reminder on your phone, July 14th, 3 p.m. Central. You can head over to theanabar.com, use my code RJF10, you're gonna save money, and I guarantee if you get into a 5-car accident where you're the only survivor, you're gonna walk away. And you have ANABOLIC to thank for that. Link in my description if you want more info. All right, after this video, y'all are gonna be sleeping like absolute babes. Now, the first tip will make a lot of sense to anybody watching this, and it's really comes down to the fact, like if you're tired all day, it's really because the night before you didn't rest optimally. So how do we ensure that we rest optimally? Well, the first thing that we can do, that I do in order to ensure that I'm good, is that I do not have any caffeine past 10 a.m. And I also never exceed 400 milligrams of caffeine in a day. Now, this is something that my entire life, I never even thought about caffeine and the fact that it was keeping me up. I might drink an energy drink around 3 p.m. If I'm driving by Starbucks at 5, I'm a little tired, I might get a coffee. Going to the gym at 7 o'clock at night, taking a massive scoop of pre-workout, I never factored this into my equation. But after actually breaking it down and looking at my caffeine consumption across the board, I realized I was definitely overdoing it, and I had heard someone else suggest it, and I decided to give it a try. So I decided that after I wake up, I'm gonna have some caffeine, but I won't have any past 10 a.m. no matter what. And lo and behold, once I started doing this, I found myself way more tired at night, way easier to fall asleep when my head hit the pillow, way less laying in bed overthinking because I wasn't amped up. You gotta think, caffeine has a half-life of around 5 hours, and that varies on the individual. Some of us are more sensitive to caffeine, and some studies have shown it can last for up to 9 hours half-life, which means if you have 400 milligrams of caffeine, there's still 200 milligrams in your blood around 5 to 9 hours later, which is wild. If you keep your caffeine just first thing in the morning, that gives it plenty of time to run the half-life out. Let those levels of caffeine in your blood lower. Then when it's time for bed, you're not all stimmed out and laying there like a crack addict. I'd rather be in bed with my head on the pillow dozing off than I would be looking out the window wondering what the neighbors are up to at 3 a.m. Fair trade for me. Now, this next one is huge, colossal, like a giant. This one made a massive improvement in my sleep, and it's really simple. For the most part, it's really simple. What you gotta do is eliminate as much light in your sleeping room as possible, whether that's with blackout curtains, shutters, putting tape over weird ambient lights coming from the VCR. Does anybody still have a VCR? From the sound bar, from the fans, put tape over it. What you want is as little light as possible in your sleeping room. You gotta think, we evolved over millions of years, billions maybe. All right, maybe not billions, but over a long time where really our circadian rhythm, our internal clocks told us that it was time to go to sleep when the sun was down. It was time to wake up when light was out. And now more than ever, we lay in bed at night on our phones, getting light. We have a ton of little ambient lights in the room. We live in neighborhoods where there's street lights, lights leaking in through the windows, and it really messes up those internal signals that are telling you, hey bud, it's time to shut them eyes and go to bed. What I'll actually do is cut to a clip from my bedroom right here. It is the middle of the day. I'm gonna get that clip right after this video. As you can see, it's the middle of the day and it is still pretty dang dark in there. This is not hard to do. You can get on Amazon, you can buy blackout curtains, you can get some black tape to put over any of those lights, and bingo, you have now created a way better sleeping environment. A couple pro tips on top of this tip, lots of tips today, is that if you cool your room down, you make it a cooler, more breezy place, you're more likely to fall asleep easier easier than you are if it's hot. I can't sleep when I'm hot. That's a personal thing. Maybe you can, but I can't. And then secondly, a little noise goes a long way. Whether you have fans in the room, which I have fans purposely to create that noise, create a little wind flow, keep me cool, or maybe you have your phone and you have some black noise on a speaker in the background. A little bit of noise goes a long way too. But really the goal should be make your bedroom a sleeping sanctuary and black that son of a gun out. Help me a ton, and I know it'll help you too. And the third one, which was a huge game changer for me, was, hey, listen to this novel concept. Stay off your cell phone at night and keep it out of the bedroom. Look at that wallpaper. That's my boy. Honestly though, if you want a surefire way to sleep bad, just be on your cell phone in bed, be on social media, start scrolling, stress yourself out, get upset, get those nerves running, have the screen full brightness, shooting that light into your eyeballs. It's terrible all the way around. So what I do now is when I go to sleep, my phone is literally in my bathroom connected to my bedroom. I have it on silent, I have it face down. I don't check it at any point in the middle of the night. How many times have you been laying there and you're like, man, I can't fall asleep. You grab that phone, then you're up for another hour. Or how many times is it like, hey, it's time for us to go to bed, but you get on social media for 10 minutes, that turns into an hour, and then by the time you put the phone down, your mind is going a million miles a minute. Social media is made to get emotional responses out of us, to addict us, to keep us scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And if you do all that to your brain right before bed, it is a recipe for disaster. And if you're the type you want to lay in bed, you want to wind down a little bit, here's my tip and what I do. I have an iPad strictly for the bedroom. We have the brightness all the way turned down, so as little light as possible. And then all I have on there is a web browser, a couple little news things, and Reddit. But other than that, I do not have any of my social media on the iPad. It is strictly just a bedtime, right by the bed device. It isn't there to stress me out, get obsessed with likes, or see what so-and-so's doing. It's not there for any of that. It's just for a little bit of news right before bed, maybe a little bit of work, think up some video ideas, whatever. But other than that, I'm keeping the cell phone out of the room completely, and doing this in general has helped me an absolute ton. If you don't believe me, give it a try. I don't think there's any way you'll be worse off for it. Now, this next one is a novel concept, but one, even though you watch this channel, I assume you're already doing it. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt like you're not, and I'm gonna explain it anyways. What we need to make sure that we're doing is getting in some sort of exercise or movement every single day. A lot of us are super sedentary. We're not doing a whole lot. If it wasn't for me going to the gym and actively working out, I'm sitting at a computer desk most of the time, or I'm sitting here talking to you guys. That's not burning a ton of calories. I wear a step tracker, and on a day that I don't film or go to the gym, if I get 3,000 steps, I'm lucky. And those are the days that I tend to sleep the worst, have the hardest time winding down, because I have all this energy inside of me that I never got to expend. And I'm not saying in order to sleep well, you gotta go to the gym every single day, but even just being mindful of the amount of activity you're getting, right? If you're at the house and you're doing nothing, you're on the phone, maybe walk some laps, walk a circle while you're doing it. Try to get at least 10,000 steps in. That is my bare minimum every single day. I want 10,000 steps. And I know that anytime I hit that or I move past it, I'm gonna be way more ready to fall asleep at night because I actually used the energy inside of me. I actually did some things that made me tired, and my body actually needs to do some sort of repair and recovery because we were active. So even on days that I am not training, I'm still doing at least 20 minutes of some form of cardio in order to make sure we're hitting that step counter and I'm getting in some sort of activity because my sleep literally depends on it. If you guys want a great way to get exercise in at home, don't forget you can buy some at-home workout equipment. You can buy one of those mini steppers from Walmart for like 40 bucks, or you can buy an Oculus Quest 2 VR headset. They have tons of workout stuff in there. If you want to see a video on that and how I work out with that, let me know in the comments below and I will oblige. And now this next one should go without saying, but me personally, I can attest to it. Having just came off a bulk where I was up around 193 to 195 pounds, and now that I've dropped around 10 pounds or so, I definitely noticed that I have more energy and I feel better being at a lower, more ideal weight, having less body fat. Now, there could be multiple factors at play here. It could be, yes, I'm a lower weight. In turn, me just generally moving around takes less energy. I'm less inflamed. I'm not digesting as much food as often, which does take energy. But in general, when you're eating less and you're at a healthier weight, you are going to be less inflamed. Your mobility increases because you're carrying around less weight, and overall, it's less stress on your joints, your body, and everything in between. One of the most common problems people that are overweight deal with is that they genuinely, throughout the day, don't feel very good. It takes a lot to operate that much tissue and maneuver it throughout the world, which is why probably over anything else on this list, if you want to generally feel better and less tired throughout the day, losing some weight can be of massive benefit. And if you're watching this channel, I assume you're already trying. You're currently in the middle of living a healthy lifestyle, eating some of the recipes around here, which is absolutely fantastic. But if you want to make the process as easy as possible for eating foods you actually enjoy, don't forget, you can always grab a copy of my cookbook, which is available at the first link in the description box. We have every recipe from the channel, over 250 of them. Broken down, easy to use guide with all the macros, calories, everything you need to succeed. All you gotta do is go to the store, get the ingredients, come back home, and you're gonna be eating like a chef. And you're gonna get results all at the same time, which is absolutely fantastic. Hit that link in my description to check it out. You get it one time, you get every future recipe update I add for $0, which means free. If you didn't, I don't even know if what I just said made sense, but it's free. Hit that link in my description to check it out. And the next thing I do to make sure I feel good and not tired and lethargic all day is I make make sure that I'm eating more meals, but overall they're smaller in size and calories instead of just having massive meals throughout the day. I know you watching this, you right there can relate to this. You ever been at work, it gets around noon, you go to eat lunch, someone orders a pizza, you end up having 2,000, 3,000 calories of pizza, lots of carbohydrates. Next thing you know, you are in a rut for at least a couple hours, and sometimes that rut lasts all day. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not how you should feel after eating a meal. You should feel less like Jabba the Hutt and more like Jar Jar Binks, fast, nimble, and secretly a Sith Lord. But in all honesty, anytime that you overeat, you're putting massive stress on your digestive tract, which in turn takes energy and slows you down. But instead, if you eat that smaller meal, the more easily digestible, lighter meal, not gonna be so heavy on your stomach, something anabolic. If you do that, you're still gonna be fleet of foot, you're gonna be light, you're gonna be maneuvering through the world like a snake, or maybe a gazelle works better, but essentially you're not gonna reach that point where you are slowed down like you're stuck in mud after eating a large meal. Last thing we wanna do is have a productive morning and then at noon, boom, we hit a brick wall. We don't want that. So instead, keep the meals smaller, keep the meals working towards your goals, keep your meals anabolic, and you're gonna feel a whole heck of a lot better throughout the day. Now, speaking of food, this next one is so important and so crucial for my sleep personally that I'm pretty much convinced it's a conspiracy theory that no one talks about this. And I actually heard this from Elon Musk and I started implementing it, and boy, not only was it a game changer, but I guarantee you guys watching have been doing this without even thinking about it. But basically, we talked about it earlier, the amount of energy your body needs to digest food we don't ever think about. It's actually a pretty taxing process, and if you eat too much food right before bed, it's not that it's gonna cause you to gain all this weight or it's gonna throw things way out of whack. It's nothing like that. It's the fact that while you're sleeping and your body needs to go through those repair processes to make sure you wake up restful, on point, 100%, all that stuff. If you eat too much food and you're digesting it while you're sleeping, you can literally take away up to 40% of those healing and restorative properties. I did this so often without even thinking about it. Literally, I used to fast in the mornings and save the bulk of my calories for the evening. I would eat a massive meal right before bed, and I always told myself this was the best way to be because fasting was easy. I got to eat a lot at night. It was a win-win. But what I didn't know is how badly this was sabotaging my sleep. Literally, you can test it. Save the bulk of your calories or have a cheat meal. Eat that sucker an hour or two before bed and see how terrible you sleep. For me personally, I sweat a lot. I toss and turn all night. I'm really thirsty. I got to drink lots of water, which means I'm up using the restroom a lot. And even if I only get up to use the restroom one time and I still think I got a full 8 hours, I wake up and I still feel lethargic and like crap. So the rule I've implemented myself personally is after 7 p.m., I don't eat anything. And normally I go to bed between 10 and 11. And for me, I haven't had the problem giving myself those few hours to actually digest the food. So for me personally, that is what works. And if you've been doing this, you've been wondering why you're not sleeping right, try moving that food back. Eat a little earlier. Give yourself at least a few hours. You're gonna be in a way better spot. And hopefully you start feeling as good as I feel. So at this point, we basically covered everything that I'm doing to make sure my sleep is 100% optimal. But there's one thing I think that not only applies to sleep, but applies to every aspect of life that we can do to improve it, improve how we feel going throughout the day, all that stuff. And that is essentially just de-stressing yourself, right? A lot of us, we are stressed and we don't even think about it. You might look at yourself right now and you might think, I am not stressed at all. But in reality, if you really think about it, you really pay attention to how you feel in a lot of different situations, you're gonna realize that even if there isn't some big event stressing you out, you're letting a lot of little things throughout the day stress you out, affect your mood, release cortisol, and in turn, inflame your body, do damage, make you not feel good, and in turn, you don't sleep as well, and the cycle continues, rinse and repeat. I understand everybody watching this is different, and what I do to de-stress versus what you need to do might be two completely different things, but what I will say for me that helps a ton, obviously exercise is crucial. I like to get in that movement, really push myself, even on days I don't feel like it. It tends to increase my mood, makes me feel better, releases those feel-good hormones, but really outside of that, a lot of it is just a mental change, something that I try to preach to people to actually be aware of, right? Anytime you feel a negative emotion, maybe you feel anger, maybe you feel jealousy, maybe you feel resentment towards a person, whenever you feel these negative emotions, what I want you to do is stop what you're doing, think about it, and ask yourself, why do I feel like this? And if you can answer that question and you don't think it's complete and utter BS as to why you feel like that, then you need to do some reevaluation. Like a wise man once said, if it's not gonna matter 5 months from now, don't spend more than 5 minutes being upset about it. That's something I've been trying to practice in my life recently. Trying not to sweat the small stuff, not getting too worked up over things I can't control. And most importantly, when I feel bad, try to figure out why I feel bad, realize how dumb it is, and make the correction so in the future, I'm a better person for it. So as much as this isn't a direct, this is gonna make you sleep better thing, I do think de-stressing, eliminating as many of these cortisol-inducing feelings as we can, goes a long way overall in feeling less tired, more optimistic, more likely to smile, and most importantly, happier in general. And if you're doing all those things, you're gonna sleep better by default. And there we have it, folks. That's gonna wrap up this video. Hopefully you guys got some value out of this. And you know, let me tell you something right now. It's not that you have to do everything I just said, but I do recommend you try at least one or two of the things on the list. Feel out what works for you. Do some trial, do some error, see if you're sleeping better, see if you feel better. And if certain things help and certain things don't, you can get rid of the things that don't, keep the things that do, and boom, you're gonna be way better for it. If there's any tips you guys have that have helped your sleep out, make you feel better throughout the day, leave those in the comment section below. I love reading them. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, and also don't forget that the new Anabar flavor is dropping a week from now, July 14th at 3 p.m. Central. Set yourself a reminder, theanabar.com. You can always find it there. Also, don't forget about my cookbook. You can find that at the first link in the description box, and be sure to check out the apparel sponsor of the channel, Young LA. I am rocking the Polar Fleece shorts and their signature series red tee. I love everything they have. If you see me wearing something in a video and you're like, I want that, then 99.9% of the time it's from Young LA. You can always get a discount by going to youngla.com. Use my code RGF. You're gonna save money and you're gonna be stylish. And that's it for the video, ladies and gents. Appreciate you guys as always. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see every one of you at the next video. See you guys. Wham, bam, bam, baby. We gone.